Kenny, back upstairs to you.
Thanks, Brian. Nick Folk of the Dallas Cowboys get things started. It's a short kickoff, and it's brought back by Dan Koppen, an offensive lineman from the New England Patriots.
That was forced by a lot of the guys on the kickoff coverage team by Nick Folk. We are not kicking that ball deep. You know, we haven't been on a coverage unit in quite some time. Let's squib that ball down the field, get it to one of those big guys in the wedge, we'll down and track him down.
So the NFC kept it away from Joshua Cribbs of the Cleveland Browns. Peyton Manning representing the Indianapolis Colts in his 8th Pro Bowl.
A little trouble with the buckles there. Didn't do a dry run before the game. Make sure all those snaps aren't rusty and bent.
Now Peyton is ready. He was the Pro Bowl MVP back in 2005. A teammate, Jeff Saturday, will snap the ball to Peyton. Another teammate in Indianapolis, Joseph Adai, is in the backfield. Manning to the air on first down, and the catch is made by Adai. Takes it up to the 34-yard line, tackled by Lofa Tatupu of the Seattle Seahawks. A couple of Patriots, Light and Mankins. The rookie from the Cleveland Browns, Joe Thomas, starting at right tackle. A look at the backs and receivers for the AFC. Braylon Edwards and Reggie Wayne are the starting wideouts. 2nd down and 6. Fullback Lorenzo Neal in the backfield along with Joseph Adai. Neal, the 15-year veteran from the San Diego Chargers. Manning to a wide open Tony Gonzalez. And Gonzalez is finally brought down at the NFC 37-yard line after a 29-yard pickup brought down by Ken Hamlin of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to get into some of the rules that are part of the Pro Bowl, but really when you look at what that does to the complexion of this game, it really makes it one-on-one battles all the way across the field. There is no opportunity to game plan, to do anything from a schematic standpoint, to take advantage of the other conference. So this boils down to one-on-one matchups across the board throughout this game.
2 tight ends. Kellen Winslow has checked in. And Manning, after the errant snap, is brought down back at the 42-yard line by Aaron Campman of the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you mentioned that Peyton Manning is there, was his old center, but Jeff Saturday got a little bit of stick-em on that one, stuck to the hands and sailed on him a little bit.
Aaron Campman with 12 sacks this season, playing in his 2nd consecutive Pro Bowl. Loss of 20 yards on the play. A look at Jeff Saturday. 3rd Pro Bowl for Jeff. Braylon Edwards split to the left. Reggie Wayne to the right. Off the play fake on 2nd down and 30. Manning complete. 2nd catch for Gonzalez. And he's finally tackled by Tatupu at the NFC 32-yard line. So a 3rd down and 5 coming up as we check out the defensive line from the NFC.
Yeah, Osi Umenyiora, the only member of the world champion New York Giants that's a part of this Pro Bowl team, goes to show you the great chemistry that they had with that group.
DeMarcus Ware, one of 13 Dallas Cowboys here in Honolulu. Al Harris, a 10-year veteran, playing in his 1st Pro Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see how he adjusts to the rules, because there is no press coverage allowed in the Pro Bowl until you get inside the 5-yard line. That's completely foreign to Al Harris. He's always in press.
He's matched up here with Reggie Wayne. Manning complete. Braylon Edwards. And Edwards is forced out of bounds just shy of the goal line.
Well, they have definitely found a soft spot in this defense of the NFC. We've seen 2 big pass plays to Tony Gonzalez and now to Braylon Edwards. Kind of that same route, that deep crossing route about 15-20 yards down the field. 3 big plays on this opening drive.
Head coach Norv Turner really impressed with Braylon Edwards this week.
Jumps out at you, and you talk to the coaches, this is the best of the best. And Norv Turner said, boy, watching him at practice, he really jumped out at you with his athletic ability.
1st and goal from the 1, and it's the fullback Lorenzo Neal on the inside handoff, and Neal is stopped short by Tatupu and Darnell Dockett.
Well, at least you gave him a shot, Norv. You gave him a shot down inside there to get the fullback a touchdown in the Pro Bowl. But I think that's going to be his only shot. I don't know if he'll come back to it. Looks like he got tripped up on his own man coming out of the backfield.
Now 2nd and goal for the AFC. From the 1-yard line, again is Neal. And Lorenzo Neal, no signal yet. Touchdown, AFC.
Norv went to the well again. Well, I tell you, the fullbacks that come to the Pro Bowl, though, they do a lot of the layman's work. You know, we talked about special teams. When somebody needs a substitution on special teams, they're going to look for Lorenzo Neal or Tony Richardson. These guys are going to be asked to do a lot. So good to see Lorenzo Neal at least getting a touchdown here early on in the game. He's going to be working a lot during the course of this game.
Lorenzo Neal, who has blocked for a 1,000-yard rusher 11 consecutive seasons. Rob Baronis of the Tennessee Titans adding the extra point. The AFC out to a 7-0 lead. The fullback, Lorenzo Neal, into the end zone.
With the offenses across the NFL, very different from what Peyton Manning is used to during the course of the regular season.
Baronis kicking off. This is Devin Hester of the Chicago Bears. 6 return touchdowns this season, and Hester brings this one all the way out to the 46-yard line. Forced out of bounds by Antonio Cromartie. A 40-yard return by Hester. Mascots get to come to the Pro Bowl as well.
Yeah, everybody participates in the Pro Bowl. We've got representation by the cheerleading squads from across the NFL. We've got the mascots here, so it's all NFL here in Honolulu.
Tony Romo, who has started 26 regular season games in his career, already appearing in his 2nd Pro Bowl. Terrific starting field position following the 40-yard return by Hester. And Romo's pass is nearly intercepted. He was looking for Larry Fitzgerald. Getting a piece of it, D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans. The starting offensive line. 3 Dallas Cowboys, along with Steve Hutchinson of the Vikings, Chris Samuels of the Redskins. Adrian Peterson coming off his tremendous rookie season, the starting running back. 3 wide receivers set for the NFC. Romo under pressure. And he finds his favorite target during the regular season, Jason Witten, forced out of bounds by Mike Vrabel of the AFC champion New England Patriots. Jared Allen led the entire National Football League this season with 15.5 sacks. A couple of Tennessee Titans, Albert Hainsworth and Kyle Vanden Bosch, start up front. Vrabel in his 11th season, making his first Pro Bowl appearance. And a couple of veterans from the Broncos, Lynch and Bailey. Terrell Owens met immediately by Antonio Cromartie of the San Diego Chargers, who led the NFL with 10 interceptions in the NFC, forced a punt.
Now you can see what Fred Taylor talked about at the beginning of the game with Tony Siragusa. As a running back, he has to go hard every play, but we've seen Devin Hester on the return. Some of the receivers here as they get towards the sideline, you know, not what we're used to seeing during the course of the regular season and through the playoffs. But you know, I agree with Fred. You know, when you're playing the running back position and you're inside running between the tackles, it's a much different game even here at the Pro Bowl.
Andy Lee of the San Francisco 49ers punting from his own. Oh, it's a fake. Lee with the completion. First down, Tony Richardson, the fullback from the Minnesota Vikings, on the fake punt, picks up a first down for the NFC.
The fullback's playing a big part in this game early on. Lorenzo Neal with a touchdown. Tony Richardson converts on the fake punt. Mike McCarthy pulling out all the stops here at Pro Bowl.
Green left close. 99 search. Z ghost on 1. Ready?
The quarterback's wearing microphones for us today. Tony Romo calling the play in the huddle. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Adrian Peterson And Peterson down the sidelines picks up an NFC first down, forced out of bounds by Asante Samuel after a gain of 15.
He is so impressive. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get to the corner. And you're talking about the guys that play in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball that have tremendous side-to-side pursuit. I mean, we keep talking the best of the best. Adrian Peterson, I mean, gets that corner, is able to turn it and get a big gain down the sideline.
From the AFC 26, Romo to Larry Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald is tackled at the 15-yard line by Samuel. Picks up another first down for the NFC. Looked like the NFC would go 3 and out, but on the fake punt, Andy Lee completing the pass to Tony Richardson, and now the NFC moving the ball downfield with ease. Romo looking Terrell Owens' way, but the pass deflected again. Second deflection for DeMeco Ryans, last year's Associated Press Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He is an impressive football player. We saw him on the practice field. Boy, he is really big. Tony Romo trying to wait and let that window open.
3-jet, halfback, drive, alley. On one, right? You got it, basic, yeah.
That's all in 1 week's time. I think that's one of the things that goes unappreciated by fans, is learning that entire offensive system in 5 days.
Romo steps up on second down. He dumps it off to Peterson. And Peterson takes it down to the 6-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down, tackled by Ed Reed of the Baltimore Ravens. The NFC coaching staff from the Green Bay Packers. AFC, of course, from the San Diego Chargers. The coaches on the losing side in each of the championship games get to come to Hawaii 3 weeks later.
Now, I like Mike McCarthy's approach. He said he's become very skilled in the school of delegation.
Larry Fitzgerald, touchdown, NFC.
He gave all the responsibility to his coaches to implement this game plan, to put it in offense, to take advantage of a big guy like Larry Fitzgerald on the outside when you get into the red zone, because you have to play off. Now, inside the 5, you can press coverage by rule, but outside the 5-yard line, you've got to be off, and that's like stealing for these guys when you get down close.
So Larry Fitzgerald, playing in his second Pro Bowl, caught 100 passes this season, 6th in the NFL. Reaches the end zone for the NFC, and Nick Folk, who set a Cowboys record with 131 points this season, has tied the game at 7. Down this island?
Yeah, one of the greatest places to go here on Oahu is out to the North Shore. This time of year is usually big wave season. Now, I know that some of those waves there look big, but a big competition last week, you know, out of that North Shore pipeline, hoping to get big waves. Only had 8-foot waves, but I've been here in February before where they've been 20-plus feet.
Wow. Joshua Cribbs on the return for the AFC. Cribbs still on his feet. Across the 40, finally tackled at the 42-yard line. A 41-yard return by Cribbs. Mid-first quarter, we are tied at 7.
Let's go, guys.
Peyton Manning and the AFC will start from their own 42. Three wide receivers set. Adai the lone back. Manning from the shotgun. Adai, as Manning looked to set up the screen, not much. Pat Williams made the tackle. It's it downstairs to Tony.
Thanks, Kenny. We're down here with Fred Dean. Fred, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. My question to you is, how did you find out you made the Hall of Fame?
Well, it was strange the way it happened. I was sitting in front of the TV. I had been advised to sit in front of the phone, by the phone for at least 2:30 that Saturday afternoon, and it happened to go across the screen, and I thought the first 4 players that I'd heard were Chris Carter and 3 other guys, and I thought that was the selection. I thought it was over with.
So you didn't get the phone call. You thought they bypassed you.
Yeah, I thought they'd bypass me, but later they came on and they started to announce the Hall of Famers, and I was stunned for to see it. It was still going on, so I must have called it at the wrong time.
Well, talking to guys around the league, especially Anthony Munoz, he told me that when he watched you on film, that he actually thought that the team that he was going against doctored because you came off the ball so fast. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I would say that it was pretty true. The thing about it is, like, I praised on the quickness, and being quick, I added the strength that I had with it, so it all added up for me in the long run. I ended up in Canton, Ohio to finish.
Well, congratulations, Fred.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Tony. Fred Dean once had 6 sacks in a game back in 1983 against the New Orleans Saints, which was matched this season by Osi Umenyiora against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and you really look at the defensive ends, especially here, not just around the league, but in this game today. You mentioned Osi Umenyiora, Aaron Campman, Trent Cole is here, Jared Allen, Aaron Schobel, Kyle Vandenbosch. They're kind of out of that Fred Dean mold, really relying on their quickness. All those guys, high motor guys. I know it's a cliche, we hear it all the time, but I mean, everybody that's representing the defensive end position at the Pro Bowl this year kind of cut off that same cloth.
Manning on 2nd and 10, looking for Gonzalez. Darren Sharper on the coverage.
He was running the route for you.
Well, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Is that not good? I always get that one wrong, Kenny. Peyton Manning hit that deep crossing route on 3 occasions on that opening drive. These guys are going to adjust.
A slide, 628, that drag swing on 1. Brother, what you got? Ready?
So that's the one that I'm familiar with Norv Turner's system. The number tree, to me, it is so easy to remember. The 628 that's going to give you your routes. You've got a curl, you've got a slant, and you've got a post.
Norv, your coordinator in Dallas. Manning to Addae. Nice move by Joseph Addae. Picks up a first down. He's chased down by Aaron Campman, but not before picking up 13 yards. And Norv Turner was telling us that it did take a while for Peyton Manning and Ben Roethlisberger to pick up the system this week. It's a similar system used by the Chargers to what the Cleveland Browns use. So Derek Anderson, the young quarterback, was actually lending a helping hand to both Peyton and Ben this week.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, a multi-year Pro Bowler, one of the best quarterbacks in the game today. But you give an offense with a completely different terminology. Norv's system based on numbers, his system based on words. It's not easy to shift gears.
Addae up the middle. Derek Anderson picked it up immediately.
Oh, he's just looking for the similarities. Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator with Cleveland, kind of out of that same tree, was in San Diego, with Norv's offense, with Cam Cameron's offense. So he recognized the similarities very quickly. And when you talk about a Pro Bowl game and trying to teach an offense, in a short period of time, I think that Norv's system is very beneficial to that because it is so easy to learn. You can just look across the formation and know exactly what route you have based on what the quarterback called.
2nd down and 5. From the NFC 27, Umenyiora a bit excited.
Offside, defense, 72, unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty.
That's just good to have Osi here in the game. I mean, there was a worry around midweek that he had gotten a flu bug. It had 103 temperature. They weren't sure if he was going to be able to play the game. They were prepared to bring Michael Strahan out as a replacement and have Osi sit down, but he told them, just hang in there with me for a little bit. I think I'll be fine. Just let me get some fluid. So great just to see him out on the field.
We heard from Osi earlier. Did not attend the New York Giants Super Bowl parade on Tuesday. Came right out to Hawaii from the Super Bowl. 1st and 10 from the NFC 22. Manning's pass is deflected by Greg Ellis of the Dallas Cowboys. There is Derek Anderson, the 3rd-string quarterback for the AFC. He's actually standing next to Norv Turner, calling in the plays to Peyton Manning.
Right, got right, Deuce right, gut right, look. Hold on.
That one's got me. It should be a run because there's no numbers. So yeah, we'll take a look at this one. Norv must be, he's advancing the old system.
On 2nd and 10, Manning to Reggie Wayne. Brought down at the 16-yard line by Al Harris. Reggie Wayne, 104 receptions this season, 3rd in the NFL.
You know what jumped out at me at practice when we were out there, Kenny, was how big everybody is that's a part of this Pro Bowl. Reggie Wayne, you know, when you see him on TV, you don't expect Reggie Wayne to be that big when he walks by you. I was blown away how big he was.
Third down and 4. AFC has to get to the 12-yard line for a first down. Manning to the end zone. Touchdown, TJ Houshmandzadeh. You do not often see a Bengal and a Brown high-fiving in the end zone.
Not at all, not at all. Nice route by TJ Houshmandzadeh. A little outside release, gets Darren Sharper to open up a little bit and is able to get back inside. Gives Peyton Manning a nice angle for the touchdown. I don't know, I think Peyton Manning's kind of liking this system right now.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the AFC. Baronis adds the extra point. 14-7. AFC with the lead. Late first quarter here in Honolulu. 14-7. AFC driving 9 plays, 58 yards. TJ Houshmandzadeh with the touchdown catch. Devin Hester with a big return, 40-yard return earlier, back deep along with Brian Westbrook, another threat from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's kick away from Devin Hester. We'll kick it to Brian Westbrook. I think Rob Briones was probably spoken to after his kickoff on the last one. He squibbed it, but he squibbed it too hard. He was able to get all the way back to Devin Hester. We'll see what he does with this one.
Onside kick attempt. Penalty marker. Ball is still loose. And the AFC has recovered.
Well, Tony Richardson came up to make the catch, so it became live after he touched it. But let's see if it hit somebody from the AFC before Tony touched it. Once Tony touches it, it's live, even if it's short. Looks like they're calling offsides. Rule number 1 on an onside kick in the surprise situations: don't be offsides.
Offside, kicking team, number 20, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Ed Reed.
Right at the point of the kick, you can see Ed Reed a little bit further downfield than everybody. But we've seen a fake punt. We've got a surprise onside. Sometimes you forget about special teams and these guys not really playing a lot of it during the course of the year. These guys are on the sideline when the return and cover units are out there. You'll have a few guys that do double duty, but the majority of these guys are not on the field.
And now Rob Baronis over for a chat with Ed Reed, who was the offside player from the AFC.
It's all right, Ed. I did the surprise onside. You were offside. Now I'm kicking it downfield to Devin Hester.
And we asked Norv Turner if he was going to keep the ball away from Devin Hester. He said, "What are you kidding? I want to watch him return." So Baronis tees it up at the 25-yard line. And he keeps it away from Hester. DeMarcus Ware.
Wrong way, DeMarcus.
Loses the football, and it looks like the AFC has recovered. So the AFC keeping the ball away from Hester, And it's Ed Reed who is offside on the onside kick attempt, who winds up recovering the DeMarcus Ware fumble.
DeMarcus Ware does a great job, because this is another one of those squibs, but it gets to him fast. He's in position to make a nice return. Now, all of a sudden here, everything goes wrong. I'm going to cut back. I'm not an outside linebacker anymore. I'm a featured back in an I formation. Oh, there goes the ball.
So Ed Reed making up for his mistake just a moment earlier. Peyton Manning in the AFC. Back to work from the NFC 29. Manning dumps it off for Rex O'Neal, who scored the game's first touchdown. And he was knocked out of bounds by Julian Peterson. Well, there are a number of rule differences, Darrell, on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, a lot of these are about balancing formations. The big one you can see there, you cannot have 3 wide receivers on one side. That's trips formation. You're going to go 2-by-2s. You can have a 2 and a 1 if you're in a traditional 2-back set with the fullback back there. The good one, intentional grounding, not called. You don't want any of the quarterbacks hurt in this game. You give them the ability to just get rid of the football.
Second down and 5 from the NFC 29. Off the play fake. Penalty marker on the field. Manning looking for the tight end, Kellen Winslow. A look at some of the rule differences on the defensive side.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-3 scheme, 4 down
Offside
linemen.
defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, replay second down.
3 linebackers. Now, only 2 of those linebackers can be off the ball. One of them will have to be on the line of scrimmage. No blitzing. We talked about the bump and run coverage. No bail, except when you get down inside the 5. And you can't play any specialized coverages, the nickel or dime defenses with 5 or 6 defensive backs in the formation. Again, it's about creating balance, and then you allow the athleticism of these guys to be showcased during this game. It really boils down to one-on-one matchups across the board. The offensive lineman versus the defensive lineman, backs against linebackers, wide receivers against your corners and safeties.
Second and short following the penalty called on Trent Cole of the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, movement prior to the snap.
And we're having some trouble with the NFC getting lined up. They've got 3 of their linebackers off the line of scrimmage.
Encroachment, 93. Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
This time it's on Kevin Williams of the Vikings.
We've got a penalty there, but also, you know, we're having some trouble getting lined up. We talked about only 2 of those 3 linebackers in the 4-3 being allowed to be off the line of scrimmage, behind the defensive line. One of those guys has to be on the line of scrimmage.
Clean left, slant right, look. Hold on. Good luck, bro.
Well, now we know what the look route is, so if somebody has a big cushion on the outside, that ball's going to come out quick to Braylon Edwards at the top.
Edwards split to the left, Reggie Wayne to the right. This is Wayne, and he's tackled at the 10 by Marcus Trufant.
Even when we know the plays, Kenny, we can't call them right.
Here's Derek Anderson calling in the next play.
Double right, close. Close. Gone right. 962 bullet. That drag on 1.
Three wide receivers. Houshmandzadeh in the slot. Second and 5 from the NFC 10. Manning. Aaron Campman brought the pressure. By the way, Darrell, the touchdown pass earlier this quarter thrown by Manning, his 13th in the Pro Bowl, extending his own NFL record.
Yeah, well, he's been over here enough times to be able to do that. Now the NFC starting to get there a little bit. Trent Cole coming from the right side. There's Aaron Campman coming in the inside. And one of the things that's unusual about this game, we elect tackles to play in this game. All the tackles that were selected, left tackles. So, you know, in this situation, we've got Marcus McNeil lined up on the right side. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but when you talk to these guys, putting that other foot back, playing from that side of the offensive set, completely different.
False start. Number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty.
That's on Kellen Winslow. And how are the players voted into the Pro Bowl? Well, fans, fellow players around the league, and NFL head coaches all have 1/3 of the vote.
That's what I think makes it such a unique thing and why it's an important accomplishment in a player's career, because it is your peers and it's coaches that you've played against during the course of the season. And then obviously the NFL fans who at this day and age are as intelligent a group as I've ever had the opportunity to sit down and talk to with the internet and all these publications. The fan today is extremely intelligent on the entire NFL.
3rd down and 10. Manning steps up, can't find anyone. Now he throws it corner of the end zone, looking for Kellen Winslow. So the AFC will send out the field goal unit. You mentioned the internet. A record 84 million fan votes were cast on NFL.com and on wireless phones.
Unbelievable.
84 million.
And again, when we're traveling during the course of the season and we have an opportunity to talk to the fans, the depth of knowledge that they have not only about their team but about just different topics across the board in regards to the NFL, it's really impressive.
Here's Rob Baronis, who led the NFL with 35 field goals this season, a 33-yard attempt. The AFC lead is now 17-7. 46 seconds to go, first quarter here in Honolulu. Well, the home and playground of Hawaii's royal family hundreds of years ago, Waikiki continues to be a favorite spot today for water enthusiasts. Surfing, sailing, outrigger canoe paddling, and swimming dominate the landscape here. One of the world's most recognized beach resorts, Waikiki.
You see, the new thing here is that surf paddling. Did you get a chance to see somebody doing that? That does not look easy.
I think Goose tried it.
Goose was out there? I'll tell you what, Tony Siragusa is a lot more athletic than people realize, but if Goose can surf paddle, he's gone up another notch in my book.
Goose entertaining some of the tailgaters outside Aloha Stadium in the hours leading up to the game today. There's Ed Reed. Recovered the fumble, which led to the AFC field goal.
Oh, poor DeMarcus. He played it well. I mean, a line drive squib kick, catches it. Just trying to make a little bit too much happen. Ben Roethlisberger getting a few last-minute tips from Norv Turner, making sure he knows what these plays are all about. But it's amazing how much Norv system's changed. I was in it, several years in my career, and how different it is now. And I mean, I don't even recognize a lot of the things that are being called. So somebody who's just only, been there this week and had, 4, maybe 5 days exposure to it, and to watch them execute out here, pretty impressive.
Most of the players arrived on Monday. They practiced beginning on Tuesday. They held a walkthrough here at the stadium yesterday. All but 6 teams represented. Dallas Cowboys setting a Pro Bowl record with 13 players here in this game. Ryan Westbrook, Devin Hester, and Jason Witten back deep for the NFC. Witten doesn't know what to do with it. Finally takes a knee.
Oh boy. They are trying anything to get the ball into the hands of Devin Hester. We'll probably see the same thing from the AFC with Josh Cribbs. But with these squib kicks and these short kicks, trying to get those deep guys up into that wedge area.
So following the debate in the end zone, the NFC will start from their own 20-yard line. Three wide receivers set. Romo's pass over the middle is caught by the tight end from the Washington Redskins, Chris Cooley, one of 3 Redskins in the game today, all wearing number 21. in memory of their former teammate, the late Sean Taylor.
Well, we saw the number 21 on all the players' helmets throughout the course of the season, but the three Redskins that are here today, just a great honor when you look at Chris Cooley, Chris Samuels, Ethan Albright, the long snapper, and then also, you know, Sean Taylor. There's 6 guys from the University of Miami here in this game today too. You know, he touched a lot of lives, and it's just tragic that he's not here with us at this game today.
He played in the Pro Bowl last year as the pass is caught by Larry Fitzgerald, who has the NFC touchdown, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter here in Honolulu, with the AFC scoring on all 3 of their drives. 17-7. The 2008 Pro Bowl on Fox will continue after these messages. 17-7. From the 39-yard line, off the play fake, Romo's pass deflected at the line by Albert Haynesworth of the Tennessee Titans. So a 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Yeah. Good job. It's perfect. Here we go. Right. Right. 95/Z look. On 1, ready? Wait, you got to catch.
On 3rd down and 2, first carry today for Marion Barber of the Dallas Cowboys, and he picks up a 1st down and more into AFC territory, brought down by Antoine Bethea of the Colts after a gain of 15 yards.
Well, yeah, Fred Taylor talked about the fact that, you know, you got to run hard all the time, and Marion Barber, you know, just watching him in that playoff game against the Giants and really throughout the season, how physical he is as a runner. He's one guy that these defensive players don't like playing against in the regular season. He's going to be running the same way over here. I mean, that's just the situation. You have to know the certain areas where the game may be moving a little slower. These running backs, it's not going to be that's going to be one of the spots it's not going to be happening at.
Quick out is dropped by Terrell Owens, so a 2nd and 10 coming up. A look at Chris Samuels, one of the 3 Redskins wearing number 21, and those jerseys will be auctioned at NFLauction.nfl.com. Proceeds going to the Sean Taylor Memorial Trust Fund to benefit his daughter Jackie.
Yeah, just a great tribute by those 3 guys, and it shows you the camaraderie, the family aspect that exists on a football team. It just a great job by Chris Samuels, Ethan, and Chris Cooley. Wear those jerseys, raising some money for that foundation.
And that pass deflected off the fingertips of Chris Cooley and is brought back by Antonio Cromartie. And it's Tony Romo who forces Cromartie out of bounds. Chris Cooley, the intended receiver, and Cromartie, who led the league with 10 interceptions, returns it 56 yards.
Something we've seen a number of times throughout the regular season. He didn't start it as a starter, but worked his way into that lineup. That's what happens if you're playing in the Pro Bowl. When that ball goes into the air, you are in trouble. These guys are so athletic, they can close so much ground, and then you get somebody like Antonio Cromartie. We've talked about Devin Hester and Josh Cribbs and their returns and what these guys are worried about, but now you've got Antonio Cromartie, who's he's got a record that can't be broken, a 109-yard return touchdown to his credit. You don't want him in the open field either.
Ben Roethlisberger now in at quarterback, playing in his first Pro Bowl. Off the play fake. A diving catch is made by TJ Houshmandzadeh. Houshmandzadeh with a spectacular catch down at the 14-yard line, a pickup of 16 yards.
Yeah, I liked some of the comments from TJ Houshmandzadeh this week. You know, he's been a complimentary receiver to Chad Johnson. You know, to the really the Bengals organization, not getting a lot of the notoriety that some of his teammates have. You know, he got over here, wondered if he fit in with these guys. And we talked about, as a first-time guy, do I belong here? He got on the practice field, felt like, you know what, I do deserve to be here.
Here's Taylor inside the 5, forced out of bounds after picking up a first down.
But it's kind of a process you go through as a first-time guy, and You know, TJ, again, what a part of this game is, and we heard how many people Fred Taylor has here. You know, TJ Houshmandzadeh, pretty much the same thing. He's got 10 family members, 25 friends, and he extended an invitation to all the wide receivers from the Cincinnati Bengals to come on over.
Taylor becoming the 21st player in NFL history to reach 10,000 rushing yards. On 1st and goal, this is Taylor. And a terrific stand by the NFC to keep Fred out of the end zone. Fred Taylor was the only player among the top 48 rushers in league history who had never been to a Pro Bowl.
I can't figure it out either. I know that he's had some injury issues during the course of his career. You know, there was a stint there from '99 to 2001 where he wasn't finishing the seasons, but the numbers he put up, I mean, it's amazing to me that this is the first time he's been in Hawaii.
Roethlisberger to the end zone, and TJ Houshmandzadeh has his second touchdown catch today.
Amazing that quarterbacks and wide receivers can develop chemistry in just a few days. You look at where this ball's placed. That's very well thrown by Ben Roethlisberger because Marcus Trufant is right there. Confidence that TJ Houshmandzadeh will go up and make that catch. Marcus Trufant unable to get his head turned around to find that ball. 6 more points for the AFC.
They have capitalized on 2 NFC turnovers. The fumble on the return by DeMarcus Ware, and then the Cromartie interception. Then Roethlisberger with his first Pro Bowl touchdown pass, 24-7 AFC. Baronis kicking off to Hester. Devin Hester across the 40. Forced out of bounds just shy of midfield by Champ Bailey. A 51-yard return. We check in downstairs with Brian Baldinger. Brian?
Kenny, one of the most historical franchises in the NFL is the Washington Redskins. They've just added 2 Hall of Famers to their historical career, starting with Art Monk here, who waited a long time, Art. 16 years in the NFL. When you retired, you were the all-time leading receiver in this league. Did you think the phone was going to ring, Art?
Well, you know, despite the expectations of everyone else, I've never taken anything for granted, never assumed that this would ever happen, so the wait was really not an issue for me.
We'll take a break for the play right here, Art. We'll come back here with Darrell Green, Adrian Peterson on the run. Your counterpart here, Darrell Green, 20 years. Darrell, you played in this game 7 times. Your first ballot Hall of Famer. There was never any doubt, was there, Darrell?
There was a lot of doubt. Nobody expects to walk into the Hall of Fame. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens.
It's such an honor here, Art. You've seen so many great players go in front of you right now. What did it mean to you when you got the call, and what does it mean to you here as you go forward to be a Hall of Famer?
Well, you know, Darrell and I were talking about it a little bit earlier when we kind of walked across the field. When we played in the Pro Bowl, we were once watching other Hall of Famers walk across, and it just brought back a lot of memories of the guys who went before us and what they did to help prepare us to walk behind them.
Darrell, speak to that just a little bit here. I mean, obviously 20 years in the NFL, you saw a lot of great players elected. Now you're part of that fraternity forever. They can never take anything like that ever away from you. What's that mean to be part of that fraternity?
It's incredibly special. You look at these guys here. These are great players today. But there's only 61 first-round ballots. There's only 247 Hall of Famers, period, over between maybe 25 or 30,000 players over the years. So this is the coup de lie. This is the top of the heap. This is it, baby. This is it, and I feel good.
Darrell Green, Art Monk, congratulations, guys, on all of your success and future success. Kenny, back up to you.
All right, Art's not going to say it. I'm going to say it, Brian. He waited too long. He waited much too long. He should have been in there long before. And Darrell Green, a guy who, in my opinion, never seemed to lose a step over 20 years. I got slower as the season went on. This guy plays 20 years, and I saw him at the end of his career. He didn't look any slower to me.
Both division rivals of yours, Darrell. Darrell Green, NFL record, interception in 19 consecutive seasons. Art Monk, 940 career receptions. Romo pulls it in. And the pass is just short, intended for Witten. As Brian was chatting with Art and Darryl, we saw Terrell Owens drop his second pass of the game.
Yeah, an opportunity to move the chains, get down inside the red zone right around the 20-yard line. It was thrown a little bit on the back shoulder, but Tony had to put it there, and you can see he's kind of going towards the guys he's comfortable with, trying to get one to Jason Witten on a little stop fade.
Wide right, 2 jet, zebra, double dog, wide cross on one, right? Hey, basic.
Mike McCarthy going for it on 4th down.
I'm just blown away that these guys can call plays like that after 4 days and go out and execute.
4th and 8, and the play blown dead.
False start, 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Mascots taking it easy.
Can they get sunburned like that?
You would think so.
I mean, the Bronco guy, he looks like he needs some SPF 50 there. He's a little pale.
One of the cool things about the Pro Bowl, Darryl, the players get to wear their own helmets.
Yeah, it makes our job a lot easier because they don't have to change their numbers. So we've got a couple 81s out there, several 41s, a lot of 76s.
9 sets of multiple numbers in all. Romo, loads of time, but he can't find anyone downfield. He escapes from the pressure. Now he throws, and the catch is made by Terrell Owens. High-stepping it all the way down to the 7-yard line.
Well, we've seen a couple of guys have a little bit of a miscue and able to make up for it. Ed Reed on that surprise onside kick gets a fumble recovery. Now you talked about Terrell Owens with a couple of drops. Stays alive on this play. A little bit more time to throw in the Pro Bowl than you have during the regular season. Terrell Owens finally pops up right there.
A 34-yard catch and run by Owens, who is representing his 3rd different organization in the Pro Bowl. Only 15 players all time have done that. 1st and goal from the AFC 7. Romo, pump fake, down he goes. Back at the 11-yard line, Kyle Vanden Bosch coming off a 12-sack season, bringing down Romo for a loss of 4.
Now, Kyle Vanden Bosch kind of comes over here and he picks the brains of the other guys. You know, talks to Jared Allen, talks to Aaron Campman, some guys that play the game similar to the way he does, trying to find out, you know, what their pass moves are, some things that he can work on to improve his game. You know, and it's kind of funny, these guys aren't shy in sharing their trade secrets because it's kind of like that built-in fraternity with these defensive ends. You know, they just want to spread the wealth to be able to get to these quarterbacks.
Adrian Peterson gaining 6 yards down to the 5, forced out of bounds by Ray Lewis. Adrian Peterson, one of 4 rookies playing in the game today. 3 on the NFC side.
Wide left open, 3 jet, dart cross on one, right? T.
Owens split to the left, Witten slot left, Donald Driver slot right, Larry Fitzgerald split right. 3rd and goal. Romo, couple of pump fakes, now he throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Terrell Owens. 2 drops earlier, makes up for it on this drive.
Well, we talked about the game being a kind of a situation of one-on-one battles. When you give your quarterback this much time, you can't cover a guy like Terrell Owens. Even Antonio Cromartie can't do that. I mean, it's just too much time to be able to ad-lib. You watch right here, he's supposed to be coming across the field. A good feel between T.O. and Tony Romo from their time together down in Dallas. That's going to be tough to defend in a Pro Bowl.
So Terrell Owens, who set a Cowboys franchise record with 15 touchdown receptions this season, reaching the end zone in Honolulu. His teammate Nick Folk adding the extra point. The NFC is within 10. Just under 8 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. in Honolulu. It has been 69 years since the first Pro Bowl was played at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. The New York Giants, the defending champs, beat the professional All-Stars 13-10. Fast forward to 2008, the 29th Pro Bowl played in Honolulu. High-scoring first half. 24-14, AFC with the lead. As Nick Folk kicks off to Joshua Cribbs, 1 yard deep in the end zone. And Cribbs stops shy of the 20. Chris Cooley in on the tackle along with Brendan Ayanbadejo.
So, got to get that into the TiVo catalog.
Second series at quarterback for Ben Roethlisberger. More penalty flags.
Neutral zone infraction on the defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Darnell Dockett of the Arizona Cardinals. In case you're wondering, the officials who are working here today are not a regular crew during the regular season. They do not work together. They are the highest ranking officials who did not work a playoff game this season and have never worked a prior Pro Bowl. First down and 5. Off the play fake. Roethlisberger complete to Chad Johnson. Johnson makes the catch up at the 36-yard line. Al Harris makes the tackle after a gain of 12. An AFC first down. Chad Johnson and TJ Houshmandzadeh, who has both AFC, or 2 of the AFC's 3 touchdowns. First set of Bengals receivers to ever make the Pro Bowl in the same season.
That shows you how deep the quarterback position is in the AFC. You know, Carson Palmer not over here, and 2 of his receivers are here. So you know Carson had a heck of a year putting up some numbers.
Carson Palmer, the Pro Bowl MVP last year. From the 36, Fred Taylor gain of 3.
28, Fred Taylor with the carry to the AFC.
Second down and 7 coming up for the AFC. Ben Roethlisberger playing at Aloha Stadium, Darryl, for the second time. Threw for 452 yards during his days with Miami of Ohio, and he lost the game 52-51 to the University of Hawaii. But a memorable game for Ben as he returns to Aloha Stadium today. Roethlisberger picks up a first down and more into NFC territory, out of bounds at the 43 after picking up 18.
I don't think Ben wanted Fred Taylor to go inside and get a block. I think he wanted to kind of slow down a little bit, and he was looking to pitch him the ball. See how he does after a run, if he's easy to understand. Okay, we're gonna run.
Here we go. Jack Wright, Act 4, 6:28 on 1. Ready? What you got? Jack Wright.
Sounds okay.
Sounds all right. Not bad. Not bad for the big guy.
His division rival, Derek Anderson, continues to call in the plays for the AFC. We'll see a lot of Derek Anderson in the second half. Roethlisberger to the outside, and Lorenzo Neal is brought down at the 40 by DeMarcus Ware. Kellen Winslow on the field for the AFC. Lofa Tatupu on the NFC side. Along with Peyton Manning, they are 3 Pro Bowlers playing in the game today, among 8 all-time who had fathers who also played in the Pro Bowl.
That's amazing. I mean, unbelievable that those young men can follow in their father's footsteps. And, you know, we may have a new category of Eli. When Eli gets over here, now we've got Archie Payton and Eli.
We had a look at Kellen Winslow. His dad is here today. Roethlisberger. Houshmandzadeh, first down. Tackled at the 29-yard line after gaining 11.
completion was for 10 yards. First down AFC, NFC 30-yard line.
Problem with the walkie-talkie, so Norv Turner strolls onto the field and whispers it into the ear of Ben Roethlisberger. Under 4 minutes to go, first half. AFC on the move, leading by 10. Roethlisberger with time. Intended for Fred Taylor. Trent Cole of the Eagles applying the pressure to Ben Roethlisberger, playing in his first Pro Bowl. He was the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Led the Pittsburgh Steelers to the championship just 2 seasons ago.
Oh boy, he really bounced back after a difficult season in '06. Did come into that season healthy with the motorcycle accident and the appendectomy, but a little bit of change in the offensive approach this year, and Ben Roethlisberger has a great season.
Cross.
Josh Cribbs in the game for the AFC. Roethlisberger again looking for Taylor, but he was wrapped up by Darnell Dockett.
Roethlisberger's pass is completed to number 28, Fred Taylor.
Game started off a little loose, Kenny. It's starting to look a little bit more like regular season football now.
One more double left. Double left, ace left.
Here
we go. Double left, ace left.
Norv Turner's AFC squad has scored on all 4 of their possessions. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. 3rd down and 10 from the NFC 30. 3 wide receivers. Roethlisberger on 3rd down. Steps up. And the ball sails away from the intended receiver, Joshua Cribbs.
Darnell Dockett is playing at a different speed right now than a lot of the offensive linemen for the AFC. He's been a little bit unblockable the last few plays, getting off on that cadence of Ben Roethlisberger too.
Dockett led all interior linemen this season with 9 sacks, playing in his first Pro Bowl. This will be a 48-yard attempt for Barones. His long during the regular season, 56 against the Denver Broncos. From the right hash. The AFC has now scored on all 5 of their first half possessions as they extend their lead late first half. It has been a punt-free first half, 1 fake punt, but that has been it. Devin Hester back deep for the NFC. He has returns in the first half of 40 and 51 yards.
Well, every time they've kicked it to him, gotten it back to that level where Devin Hester is, he's brought it back big. But yeah, Andy Lee and Shane Lechler, this has been a nice little vacation for him up until this point in the first half. The 2 punters in the game.
There has only been 1 kickoff brought back for a touchdown in Pro Bowl history, and that was an onside kick return. Hester looking to do it here today, tripped up, and touchdown at the 23-yard line. The long snapper Ryan Pontbriand, the first AFC player downfield to make contact with Devin Hester. Well, Pearl Harbor is one of the most recognized and visited attractions on Oahu. In addition to the Arizona Memorial, the battleship Missouri also calls Pearl Harbor home. Battleship Missouri would have made quite a quarterback, Darryl. The Mighty Mo's massive 16-inch main guns hurled 1,800-pound shells as heavy as Volkswagens over 23 miles with pinpoint accuracy. Big hole, Adrian Peterson into AFC territory. And he is finally tackled at the 38-yard line by Ed Reed after picking up 39 yards.
One of the things you'll see with Adrian Peterson, and he's got that unique ability to get to full speed in just a couple of steps. You know, when he's changing direction and all of a sudden he sees a running lane or he's in the open field, you know, that second or third step, he's in top gear.
I think Norv Turner and the Chargers are still having nightmares about the 296 yards Peterson gained on the ground against them this season.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Breaking Jamal Lewis's NFL record. Peterson again. And the NFL Rookie of the Year is brought down at the 33-yard line after a gain of 5 by the Buffalo Bills lone representative, Aaron Schobel.
One of the things that we've learned about Adrian Peterson is that if you do have a chance to meet Adrian, be prepared for a firm handshake. You better be able to sink your hand deep or you might come away with a few fingers crooked.
I'll keep that in mind as we hit the 2-minute warning in Honolulu.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm, proud sponsor of the NFL.
Well, if you like offense, you're in the right place. 27-14, AFC with the lead. Matt Hasselbeck in at quarterback for the NFC with under 2 minutes remaining, first half. Third down and 4 from the AFC 32. Hasselbeck to Donald Driver. And Driver brought down at the 18-yard line by Antoine Bethea after picking up a first down. And the NFC using their first timeout.
Well, they have been trailing the entire first half, and for them to get into halftime, possibly down 27-21 with some of the mistakes they've made, and as efficiently as the AFC has played in this first half, would be pretty impressive.
Matt Hasselbeck chatting with his former quarterback coach in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy. Back in 1999, before Matt was acquired by Mike Holmgren out in Seattle.
Well, Mike McCarthy was worried about Matt Hasselbeck maybe taking a little bit of that playbook back home to him in Seattle.
Well, coming up, Darryl, the Visa halftime show, including a live performance by multi-platinum recording artist Lifehouse. That's coming up on the Visa halftime show. Ryan Westbrook in the backfield. Donald Driver in the slot. NFC with 2 timeouts remaining. Hasselbeck to Westbrook. And Westbrook upended at the 16-yard line by Mike Vrabel, making his first Pro Bowl appearance in his 11th season. He did lobby Norv Turner earlier this week to get in on the action on the offensive side.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't see maybe Mike Vrabel when we had Lorenzo Neal down there on consecutive carries inside the 2. That's where Mike Vrabel was trying to lobby himself for a shot.
Mike told us Peyton Manning was all for it. 2nd and 10. Hasselbeck to the end zone. Chris Cooley, touchdown. Well, Chris Cooley not wearing his usual number 47, one of 3 Redskins wearing number 21 in memory of his teammate Sean Taylor, and Chris Cooley playing in his first Pro Bowl as his first Pro Bowl touchdown.
A nice touch by Matt Hasselbeck on that throw, right over the top of D'Amico Ryans. A little soft spot in that zone, but a very nice touch pass by Matt Hasselbeck.
Hasselbeck set a new career high, 28 touchdown passes this season for the Seahawks. The extra point by Folk. The NFC is within 6. Well, we take you back now to a huddle just prior to the start of the game.
Got a lot of family down here. You got to pay for this trip. This is how we gonna do it. Hey, but that's one thing. The other thing is, remember Sean Taylor, y'all. Sean Taylor on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sean Taylor.
Very nice touch by Chris Samuels as the NFC broke the huddle by chanting Sean Taylor's name.
Yeah, he was a pretty impressive guy. We had an opportunity to meet with Sean on several occasions during our production meetings, and one of the guys that we always look forward to sitting down and having the opportunity to chat with, and watching him on film and just the athleticism. A very rare and unique individual, and you can see the impact that he's had on not only his teammates but his peers around the NFL. And it was a very sad day in the NFL when we lost Sean Taylor, and just a great job by Chris Cooley, Chris Samuels, and Ethan Albright, and what they're doing to raise money for the foundation set aside for his daughter's charity.
And by the NFL, who have brought a number of Sean's family members to the Pro Bowl, including his dad Pedro, the police chief in Plant City, Florida. They are here today. Sean played in the Pro Bowl last year and had one of the hardest Pro Bowl hits ever on AFC punter Brian Moorman. Joshua Cribbs. And Cribbs runs into the arms of Brendan Ayanbadejo of the Chicago Bears. Well, the ancient sport of paddle surfing is making a comeback in Hawaii. It combines two of the island's most beloved pastimes, outrigger canoe paddling and surfing. Companies such as Paddle Corps Hawaii are helping to revive the sport and promote its physical fitness benefits for getting in shape. Try it for yourself, Daryl, the next time you are in Hawaii.
Well, I know Brian can surf, but now you've told me that Goose was paddle surfing.
That's what I was told.
And I don't mean to say that if Goose can do it, anybody can do it, because like I said before, Goose is a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. I'd like to try it. Looks safer than surfing. I don't know about Baldy out there riding those waves.
Roethlisberger looking for Fred Taylor. Time winding down in this first half, 6 seconds remaining. The AFC had a 24-7 lead, but the NFC has scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions and have pulled to within 6. Peyton Manning, the starting quarterback for the AFC, 11 of 16, 147 yards and a touchdown pass. Ben Roethlisberger with a touchdown pass as well. TJ Houshmandzadeh with a pair of touchdowns for the AFC. So a 27 as we check out the first half numbers.
Well, never going to be a lot of rushing yards in the Pro Bowl. It's going to mainly feature the quarterbacks throwing the football down the field. But the big thing, the turnovers there, and the AFC able to convert both of those into points, got them out to that 24-7 lead. But as you pointed out, Tony Romo getting the NFC back into it right at the end of the first half.
Devin Hester with 2 big returns in the first half of 40 and 51 yards. Back deep for the NFC as Rob Baronis gets ready to kick off. And the second half is underway. Hester, 3 yards deep, takes it out of the end zone. And Hester is tackled at the 33-yard line by fellow return man Josh Cribbs. Kenny Albert, Darren Johnston in the broadcast booth. I know you were excited when both fullbacks were involved early. What else stood out to you in the first half?
Just as well as the offense has played. We've talked about the fact that they've learned this system. It's a fundamental system, basic system, but in just 4 or 5 days being able to execute. Tony Siragusa would say the rules are skewed in this game for the offense to be able to produce, but I've been impressed with the offenses. But as this game wears on, we get into the fourth quarter, the winner's share, the loser's share becomes more of a topic on the sideline. This is going to heat up as we get towards the end of the game.
The shares are bigger for the winning coaches as well.
Absolutely.
Matt Hasselbeck starts the second half at quarterback for the NFC, handing off to Adrian Peterson, who gained 78 yards on the ground on only 6 carries. And Peterson runs into the arms of James Harrison of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tiger, tiger, tiger. Here we go, listen up. We got tiger, tiger, right. 94/X look. Right.
Second and 10, Larry Fitzgerald split to the left. Terrell Owens to the right. 2 tight ends, the handoff to Peterson. Peterson up the middle out to the 37-yard line, gain of 4. Albert Hainsworth made the tackle. Adrian Peterson, one of 7 Minnesota Vikings represented in this Pro Bowl, a team that had a terrific second half, missed the playoffs, but sends 7 players to Honolulu.
And 6 of those guys being starters for the NFC, so they were in the playoff hunt right down to the final week of the season. Got nudged out by the Washington Redskins, but obviously a lot of respect around the NFC for that Minnesota team.
3rd down and 6. Hasselbeck complete for a first down. Jason Witten makes the catch at the 46-yard line, tackled by Mike Vrabel. Witten, 96 receptions. Only Michael Irvin, who caught 111 passes in 95. A team you were a big part of, Darryl, has had more catches in one season for the Dallas Cowboys than Jason Witten did this year.
Well, when Jason Garrett became the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, you knew that Jason Witten was going to have a big year. When Jason was there as a player, obviously we had Jay Novacek. He knows how important a tight end is to that passing offense, and he's got one of the best in the NFL.
The slant caught by the other number 81 on the NFC squad, Torrey Holt of the St. Louis Rams, and Holt picks up a first down.
Green right, 98 shark, X look, regular.
Regular, good job. Hold on. Here we go, green right. Here we go, listen up, listen. Green right, 98 shark, X look, on one.
Tom Clements calling in the plays for the NFC, the Green Bay Packers quarterback coach. From the 42, oh, what a hit on Fitzgerald by the New England Patriot cornerback Asante Samuel.
Well, we've heard the look route called by both of these offenses. Obviously, you get some cushion on the outside. That ball's going to come out quick. The X receiver, that's the X look, Larry Fitzgerald. Asante Samuel giving him some cushion, but he's coming up as soon as he sees that ball thrown. And this game is starting to turn a little bit. We saw the first quarter kind of footloose and fancy-free, the guys having fun, a lot of points. We saw it kind of tighten down a little bit the end of that second quarter, and it started off the third quarter with a big hit by Asante Samuel.
2nd and 10, Hasselbeck to the outside. Terrell Owens tackled by Samuel at the 35-yard line, 3 yards shy of a first down.
Zebra, you got wide left, 300 Jet, Dragon, both Sluggo, both outside guys Sluggo. And we're going for it on
Hey. Sluggo's outside, Wide left, 300 Jet, Dragon, on one.
Sluggos, those are the routes that you saw Plaxico Burress run in the Super Bowl to win that game against the Patriots. It's a slant and go route, so both your guys on the outside will be slant and go.
You know what else you said? We're going for it on 4th if they do not pick up the first down. So the NFC will go for it here on 4th down, as we heard. Pass intended for Adrian Peterson. D'Amico Ryans got a hand on it.
Wide left open, 3 Jet, dart cross. Wide left open, 3 Jet, dart cross.
Okay, here we go, zebra. 4th and 2 now, 4th and 2, wide left open, 3 Jet, dart cross, on one. Gun.
Matt Hasselbeck letting the center, Andre Girard, know that he would be taking the snap out of the shotgun. 4th down and 2 for the NFC. And they pick up the first. Torrey Holt still on his feet. And Holt takes it all the way down to the 17-yard line before he was tackled by Ed Reed. A 17-yard pickup for Holt, who gained 1,000 yards for the 8th time in his career.
He just a model of consistency throughout his career, and St. Louis had a tough season this year. A lot of their key guys out. Steven Jackson out for a time, Mark Bulger out for a little while, but Torrey Holt just continues to impress with his playmaking ability.
On the 17-yard line, this is Peterson. Turns the corner. Touchdown, Adrian Peterson.
Well, if you're going to defend Adrian Peterson, you're going to want to have all 11 guys out on the field. One of the things that will happen during the course of a game like this is sometimes you have substitution issues. The AFC only had 10 guys on the field. Terrell Owens gets away with a hold. Larry Fitzgerald gets away with a hold. I guess maybe you're right, Goose. Maybe it is skewed a little bit towards the offense. We had two holding calls on the outside that somehow didn't get called on that touchdown run.
Adrian Peterson, 13 touchdowns during the regular season, has his first in a Pro Bowl. So the NFC, who fell behind 24-7 with their first lead of the afternoon. For the NFC as Derek Anderson comes into the game at quarterback for the AFC. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Anderson to the tight end, Gonzalez. Moments ago, Tony Siragusa chatted with the AFC quarterback, Derek Anderson.
All right, I'm here with Derek Anderson. Derek, you're going in, man. Any buddy flies or anything like that? What are you looking forward to?
Going out there and make a few plays, you know. Go out there and have fun with it and get my guys the ball and let them do what they do.
You know, there's defensive guys, man. They're going to come at you. They're going to bring maybe the heat. I heard them talking maybe about a blitz. Any nerves? Any nerves?
All right.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
All right, so Derek, man of few words, on the sidelines with Tony. Playing in his first Pro Bowl after a tremendous season with the Cleveland Browns. Penalty marker as Anderson's pass intended for Tony Gonzalez.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. Number 31, illegal defensive formation. The white cornerback is in a press coverage. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You knew it was going to happen. Al Harris can't play off the entire game. There was no way humanly possible that he could play with a cushion for the entire game.
We spoke with Mike Pereira, the NFL's head of officiating, before the game. He was out of practice this week, and Al Harris told Mike Pereira, I haven't played off since college. But it's a violation of one of the Pro Bowl rule changes from the regular season, and it's a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. 1st and 10 from the 40. Anderson complete to Reggie Wayne. Picks up an AFC 1st down. Gain of 17 yards.
Hey, Tony, how did you know that they were going to start to bring the blitz? There's Al Harris in the press coverage right there. And now the NFC comes back on the next snap, and Darren Sharper blitzes. Goose, I mean, it's illegal.
And the flag was just thrown after the officials huddled up on the sidelines.
Goose is influencing some decisions down there. I think he's had enough of this offensive explosion.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. There are 2 fouls. Both illegal defenses, number 42 and number 57, illegally blitzing the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So the first penalty is on Sharper. They do not have a number 57. Chuck Prefer, a longtime special teams coach in the NFL, now works for the league in the officiating department. He is here watching the game from up top, and he alerts the officials to any of these illegal defenses, which the NFC has been called for now the last 2 plays.
Well, I think that Mike Pereira, when we talked to him before the game, said if we see things like this and it doesn't have an impact on the play, we're not going to call it. But on that one, Lorenzo Neal, you know, he's releasing because he doesn't think Darren Sharper can blitz. You could get into a situation where anytime they blitz, they are going to have an impact on the play.
Anderson swings it out to Neal. And Neal is tackled by Ian Badejo, who made the team by virtue of his play on special teams, and we have seen him in on a number of defensive plays for the NFC.
Yeah, he really has. He's been taking quite a few snaps as a linebacker for the NFC.
double right close, gone right. Wrap, 73Z pivot, H flat. Yeah.
Derek Anderson was calling the plays in to Manning and Roethlisberger. Norv Turner now calling the plays in to Derek Anderson. Second down and 9. 3 wide receivers. Houshmandzadeh in the slot. Anderson to the outside, and Fred Taylor unable to make the catch. You get the sense the AFC would love to see Fred Taylor reach the end zone?
Yes.
Gone right, 962, H bullet, F drag. Double right close, gone right, 962, H bullet, F drag.
Here we go. Hey, listen, double right close, gone right, 962, H bullet, F drag. All right.
Again, 3 wide receivers. Wayne split to the left, Houshmandzadeh in the slot, Edwards split to the right, Taylor in the backfield.
Yeah, here's your F drag right there. Let's see if it's Houshmandzadeh again for a touchdown.
Pass was intended for Houshmandzadeh. So the AFC now facing a 4th down and 9, and they will send out the field goal unit. Norv Turner had not been to a Pro Bowl, at least as a member of the coaching staff, since January of 1990, an assistant with the LA Rams under John Robinson when they lost in the NFC Championship game.
Well, I don't think many people thought San Diego staff would be here this year, because that means they would have had to make it to the championship game. A team that had high expectations going into the season but got off to a slow start, got everything turned around. I really think San Diego is a team to watch out for next year in the AFC. A lot of that was just some chemistry they had to adjust to with a lot of new coaches and a new offense.
AFC back on top. They're introduced during the pregame introductions today. They saved the Super Bowl representatives for last, and OC is the only New York Giant at the Pro Bowl. Devin Hester. Hester throwing it across the field to Jason Witten. A la Frank Wycheck in the Music City Miracle. James Harrison finally made the tackle.
I mean, special teams, we've had a fake punt, we've had a surprise onside kick, and now we've got a throwback return.
Tony Romo having some fun on the sidelines. He threw 2 touchdown passes in the first half for the NFC. Now in at quarterback, the only Tampa Bay Buccaneers representative added as a replacement for Brett Favre, Jeff Garcia, his first Pro Bowl in 5 seasons.
Not only the only representative for Tampa Bay, but a Kenny Albert Nugget, the only representative from the NFC South.
That's right. And Garcia completes to Cooley, picks up a first down. Well, the AFC 34.
Now let's go back and take a look at the influence that Devin Hester has on a coverage team. When he bounces outside of Brian Westbrook right here, let's go back and look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then all of a sudden he's gonna rise up and just throw it back. I mean, that's pretty athletic right there. I mean, he's drifting away, kind of throwing off his back foot, gets it to Jason Witten. Boy, he attracts a lot of players.
Garcia hands it off to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson on that run goes over 100 yards in his first Pro Bowl after taking the handoff from Garcia. And you talk about the NFL draft being an inexact science. These are the 6 quarterbacks here today. 2 first-round picks, 2 6th-round picks. Romo not drafted. Garcia went to the CFL for 5 seasons.
I thought Norv Turner made a great comment when we sat down and visited with him, and he says you have all these parameters and these measurables about what a football player is supposed to be. Heights, weights, 40 times, just all these different measurables that we have. He says you get to the Pro Bowl and you see these great athletes and you see that some of them don't fit into that category, is what we have is definable.
Garcia fires out of bounds as we check in downstairs with Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. We're down here with Emmett Thomas. Emmett, we were talking earlier. By the way, congratulations on going to Canton. It must be a thrill. But you were telling me there's somebody really special who's going to be presenting you there at the Hall of Fame.
Yes, it is. And first of all, like I said, I feel honored and blessed to have this opportunity to go into the hall. And my son, Derek Thomas, will be introducing me or presenting me.
You know, you had 3 games this year as head coach. What do you like better playing? Playing the game or coaching the game?
There's no comparison. Playing, because you can control. You have some control over what happened out on the field. But as a coach, you prepare it, but you can't have any control. So playing, you get a better high, and you can't compare the two.
Thanks, Emmett. Congratulations again. Back to you guys.
All right, Tony. Antonio Cromartie with his second interception. Pass was deflected off the fingertips of Torrey Holt. And Antonio Cromartie, 10 interceptions during the regular season, 2 in this Pro Bowl.
But both of these have come off deflections. Antonio Cromartie, watch how quick he is there to get the ball away from Torrey Holt. I mean, deflected passes, but you've got to put yourself in a position to make a play. Antonio Cromartie for the second time today. And boy, he has got some elusiveness when he gets out into the open field.
So Cromartie ties a Pro Bowl record, 8th player with 2 picks in 1 game. Ed Reed did it for the AFC last year. When we spoke with Norv Turner about Cromartie, he's told us Antonio even tries to come up with interceptions during walkthrough practices.
He talked about his wingspan and some of the quarterbacks that had to go against him this week. Peyton Manning, Derek Anderson, and Ben Roethlisberger. You know, they said it's unbelievable. You think your guy is open, and you throw the ball, and all of a sudden, not only does he elevate, but the wingspan that he has, he was just snatching balls at practice.
So Cromartie with his second pick, the 3rd NFC turnover today. Willis McGahee on that last carry. The Baltimore Ravens running back making his Pro Bowl debut. Second series at quarterback for Derek Anderson, who led the Cleveland Browns to a 10-win season. Anderson with loads of time. He was looking for Reggie Wayne. Let's check in now downstairs with Brian Baldinger. Brian.
Kenny, it's a proud moment here to be standing next to a Hall of Famer, new Andre Tippett of the New England Patriots. Andre, you waited a while. Was it worth the wait?
Absolutely. It was very, very much so worth the wait. And I tell you what, I am so happy. It's been a spectacular time being over here in Hawaii again and being around the class that I'm going to be going in with in August. It's been outstanding. Great guys.
Andre played 12 years. You had 100 sacks. You played in 5 of these Pro Bowls. I mean, it was an outstanding career, but now you're going into the Hall of Fame. You waited a while. What's that day going to be like for you?
It's going to be very emotional for me, but it's going to be very satisfying. It's a place that you can't pay to get in. Once you're in, you're in. You can never leave. And you're at the highest level that there is in professional football.
Kenny, as a guy that played against Andre for a number of years, this man is very worthy. Congratulations, Andre.
Thank you, Bob.
Back upstairs to you, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Brian. Andre Tippett, as Brian mentioned, 100 career sacks, 18.5 during the '84 season. You had a look at Shane Lechler of the Oakland Raiders. This will be the first punt of the game. Devin Hester drops back deep. He returned 4 punts for touchdowns this season. Good kick by Lechler. Bounces into the end zone. He keeps it out of the arms of Hester. High scoring here in Honolulu. It's the AFC leading by 2 late 3rd quarter. AFC leading the NFC by 2. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, and Brian Baldinger, the 2008 Pro Bowl on Fox. Adrian Peterson loses a yard. Jared Allen made the tackle along with Sean Merriman. Adrian Peterson over the 100-yard mark in his first Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. Gosh, at the one point was averaging 11 yards a carry at 9 carries for 99 yards. And we've talked about his ability to just get to top speed in just a couple of steps. And we've seen him turn the corner when it didn't look like it was going to make it. And then he's taken a couple of things that looked like, 3 or 4 yard gains, turned them into 15, 18-yard runs.
His touchdown gave the NFC their first lead. Second down and 11 off the play fake. Garcia to a wide open Terrell Owens. Did you ever think you would hear Garcia to Owens again?
No, I didn't.
38-yard pass play. Jeff Garcia, following his 5 years in San Francisco, has played 1 season in Cleveland, 1 season in Detroit, 1 season in Philadelphia, 1 season in Tampa Bay. First quarterback in league history to start for 5 different teams over 5 consecutive seasons. But he is back in the Pro Bowl after leading the Buccaneers to the NFC South title. Peterson out to the 49, gain of 3. Vince Wilfork made the tackle. Next Sunday, the world's best drivers return to Fox to go door to door to see who will take home the checkered flag in the 50th running of the Great American Race. Our exclusive coverage of the Daytona 500 begins next Sunday at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific in high definition only on Fox. Last year's champion Jimmy Johnson won the pole earlier today on Fox.
Watch the seams. Watch him setting up with the, hey, watch him hooking up. I'm gonna stay on the back.
Garcia on 2nd down and 8. Dumps it off to Brian Westbrook. Westbrook tackled at the 44-yard line by Ray Lewis. Brian Westbrook led the entire league in yards from scrimmage.
Here we go.
I love those plays. You can run against anything.
Here we go. Green left, 99 Shark, X look on 1.
Final minute, 3rd quarter, Westbrook. Westbrook scoots down to the 40. Gain of 4. And that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter here in Honolulu. The AFC won last year's game on a last-second Nate Kading field goal, 31-28. The AFC will take a 2-point lead into the 4th quarter today. As the teams change sides, it's the AFC 30, the NFC 28. The 4th quarter is coming up. The 2008 Pro Bowl on Fox. We start the 4th quarter in Honolulu with the AFC leading the NFC 30-28. Adrian Peterson, 105 yards on the ground for the NFC. Tony Romo, a couple of touchdown passes. TJ Houshmandzadeh, 2 touchdown receptions for the AFC.
They're down left. Yeah, they got to play that way.
2nd down and 6 from the AFC 40. Garcia to a wide open Jason Witten. 1st down at the AFC 16. Antoine Bethea made the tackle after a gain of 24.
Jason Witten continuing to be a big part of this game. We saw Tony Romo looking his way quite a bit earlier, but Jeff Garcia finding him wide open on a corner route on the backside of that formation.
Jason Witten playing in his 4th consecutive Pro Bowl in his 5th NFL season. Adrian Peterson in the backfield, along with the fullback Tony Richardson. Peterson takes it down to the 11 before he was tackled by Kyle Vanden Bosch, a gain of 5. So we've been talking about it during the week, and you mentioned it today, kind of a loose first half, but once you get down to the 4th quarter, it's crunch time. These guys want to win the game.
It is, and you know, we've talked about the winner's share and the loser's share, and there's a pretty big difference there. You know, but the other thing is these guys are competitors. You know, they don't want to lose. They want to look good on the field. We talked about, you know, the 41 first-timers who are here, but that doesn't really change. The guys who have been here multiple years still don't want to get beat for a touchdown. You know, they don't want to be the guy that makes a mistake that cost their team. And it was one of the things that really jumped out at me my first time at the Pro Bowl was, you know, I always knew that these guys were fantastic athletes and just incredibly gifted, but when you get around them and you see how competitive they are, you know, that's really the thing that separates these players from a lot of the other players in the NFL. They've got an incredible competitive desire within them.
Who were you most excited about meeting when you came to your first Pro Bowl?
Jerry Rice. Very easy, very easy. I had watched him for years and consider him to be the best all time at the wide receiver position. And as classy a guy as you could ever want to meet on top of that.
First and goal from the 6. Garcia to Owens, touchdown.
Well, that's been the key to this game, is if you get tackled at the 6-yard line, because you can't play press coverage until you get to the 5. And we've seen a couple of slant passes now from the 6-yard line. Look how far Antonio Cromartie has to play off. Again, it's stealing with a guy like Terrell Owens on a slant route with that much cushion.
Second touchdown reception of the game for Owens. The NFC back on top by 5. 12 and a half to play, fourth quarter. 35-30 NFC. Second touchdown reception of the game for Terrell Owens. The NFC leading by 5. Josh Cribbs back deep for the AFC as Folk kicks off. Taken at the 5 by Cribbs. Breaks away from Tony Richardson and is tackled at the 27-yard line by Lofa Tatupu. Diamond Head on Oahu's South Shore, also known as Leahi in Hawaiian, was given its name by British sailors in the 19th century who mistook calcite crystals embedded in the rock for diamonds. Today, Diamond Head has become one of the most recognized landmarks on Oahu, towering over Waikiki and boasts a hike to its peak that offers gorgeous views of the south and east shores of the island. Did you get a chance to visit Diamond Head?
I have actually staying down towards Diamond Head. Actually been by Cocoa Head and out to the eastern shores.
Derek Anderson of the AFC starting from the 27. Let's go back a couple of moments following the touchdown pass from Jeff Garcia to his former teammate, Terrell Owens.
Well, you know, you talked about it before. You know, did you ever think we'd see them, you know, connect on a pass? They could end up connecting on a touchdown pass. And, you know, what's in the past is in the past. And you get over here and, you know, you brought up the story about Andre Gerard and Albert Haynesworth, who, you know, after that incident where Albert Haynesworth kind of stomped on Andre Gerard's head, you know, put a cut in that took 30+ stitches. They've kind of met for the first time, you know, over here this week and have mended fences also.
Pass caught by Braylon Edwards, and Gerard said yesterday we've become friends, Albert and I, and Albert Haynesworth was suspended 5 games following that incident.
There's just something about it. You get over here and you see the guys, and you know when you're playing in the regular season, you view them as the enemy. You know, and you can't imagine that when you get over here and you visit with them, that you know they're just trying to win a game too, and they're regular guys just like you are. And some really good friendships have started over here at the Pro Bowl between guys who actually play against each other, whether it's within the same conference or the same division.
On 3rd down and 1, McGahee picks up the first down. Now, you said that you were most excited to meet Jerry Rice, but you also wound up wearing the helmet of Brett Favre in one of your Pro Bowl appearances.
Yeah, I was excited to meet Jerry Rice, but it was actually Brett Favre who ended up helping me out when I was over here. We had somebody break into the locker room the night before the game and stole some of the equipment, and one of the things they got that night was my helmet. And I tell you what, I was really, really nervous in that game because you know, you spend the whole season, the whole training camp breaking that helmet in. You know, it was a completely different style of helmet. I wore a bike helmet. Brett had a Rydell. It didn't quite fit that well. The face mask was different. I didn't have the center bar that went all the way to the top. I had an open face mask, and I tell you what, not very comforting walking out onto the field to play against that type of player, kind of feeling like you were a bobblehead, because that's how the helmet kind of fit me.
And folks, it was not a bicycle helmet. Bike, the name of the company.
Yes, yes.
And Darryl, you told me during the season that your dad was a big Green Bay Packers fan during his youth, and he actually thought you wore that helmet for him.
Yeah, well, after the game, he said, well, that was awful nice of you to put that
straight,
Packer helmet up for me.
Pete, get straight. Pete.
from the NFC 43. Anderson in and out of the hands of Gonzalez, and Brett Favre actually brought that. It was an extra helmet that he was going to get signed by some of the other Pro Bowlers.
Well, they'll bring their own helmet over to trade. You know, Brett Favre can come over and get a, you know, he'll put a signature on a Green Bay Packer helmet, give that to a Jerry Rice or a Troy Aikman or an Emmitt Smith, and you see a lot of the guys swap memorabilia, whether it's for their own collections at home or to do some of the money-raising events that they have for charities that are part of their foundations. So yeah, Brett fortunately was able to help me out.
Brett Favre, the leading vote getter this season on the NFC side, elected to his 9th Pro Bowl, is not here. Led the Packers to a franchise record 13-win season. Anderson on 2nd and 10, caught by McGahee, and he's tackled from behind by Greg Ellis at the 41-yard line. Terrell Owens, 2 touchdowns. He's with Brian.
All right, thanks, Kenny. We got 2 touchdowns from T.O. today. Can we get 3 today, T.O.?
Oh, it's not a problem. As long as I'm on the field, I can make some plays.
You started with Tony Romo, got you the first one. Jeff Garcia, the second one. It doesn't matter who's throwing it, right?
No, it doesn't matter at all. You know, as long as I catch it.
You got the lead right now, T.O. You guys want to win this game? You want to bring it home?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, they were up early. I thought TJ was in the driver's seat, you know, for the MVP, but right now we switched.
Okay.
Yeah.
You took it from TJ.
Yeah. We had a change of the guards.
Okay. That's from T.O. down the sideline. Still a little bit of time left here, T.O. So bring it home.
Oh, yeah, we're going to bring it home. We need that 40 G's. You know, I just talked to Al. He said he got a lot of family in town, and he's in the red right now.
T.O. said, get your popcorn. The game ain't over yet, guys. All right, upstairs.
Well, 40,000 to the winning players, 20,000 to the players on the losing side. And, you know, we've talked about how many friends and family members some of these players bring. So that money actually goes to paying for the flights, the hotel rooms, the meals, etc.
Well, especially the first time guys you heard, you know, Fred Taylor talked about 38 people. TJ Houshmandzadeh maybe has a group bigger than that. You know, they can come out a little bit behind if they lose this game.
On 4th and 8, Anderson complete for a first down to Gonzalez. Darren Sharper made the tackle. Apparently last year, one of the coaches on the NFC side got a hold of Tony Romo's room number. It was Tony's first Pro Bowl, and many of the players started charging their room service meals to Tony Romo's room. Did any of that hazing type activity go on back when you played in your first Pro Bowl?
I don't remember any of it happening when I first came over, but yeah, there are stories of guys kind of going through the ritual that you do your first training camp in the NFL. When you come over here for your first Pro Bowl, you go to check out, and somehow that balance isn't quite what you thought it was.
Anderson, incomplete. He was looking for Chad Johnson. Derek Anderson wanted 6 Cleveland Browns here today. The last time the Browns sent 6 players to the Pro Bowl, Bill Belichick was their head coach back in 1994.
Well, it just goes to show that with team success come individual honors, and the Cleveland Browns, you know, in the playoff hunt down the stretch, got beat out by Tennessee the final week of the season. But we've got 6 guys from the Cleveland Browns here today. So, you know, congratulations to Romeo Crennel on an extension with his head coaching contract. You know, keep some consistency there. You've got a very, very competitive young team ready to take that next step.
Anderson on 2nd and 10 to the end zone. There was some contact. Kasim Osgood, who made the team by virtue of his outstanding special teams play in San Diego, also plays some wide receiver, was the intended receiver.
Another one of those guys that, you know, you walk past you at the practice field on Friday and you're like, wow. I mean, these guys are all big, they're all fit. I mean, it was very impressive, you know, to see the athleticism on display on that field on Friday.
3 wide receivers. Winslow the tight end. 3rd down and 10. Anderson looking for Winslow. Greg Ellis on the coverage. Kellen Winslow's dad is here. He was the co-MVP of the game back in 1982 along with Leroy Selman. Kellen very excited. I asked his dad what he told his son. He said, just have some fun.
And that's really about what this whole trip, this whole experience is about for these players. It's kind of a reward. You've gone through the regular season. You've been elected to come to this event, you know, by your peers, by the coaches you played against, by the fans, and it's hard to express what it means. And all these guys enjoy coming over here. It's just a tremendous experience for everybody.
Anderson looking for Braylon Edwards. Marcus Trufant on the coverage. So the NFC will take over on downs. Just over 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. Darrell, all of us at Fox would like to wish you a very happy birthday. What better place to spend your birthday than here in Honolulu?
Oh, thank you very much. It's now official. I've worked on the birthdays of everybody in the family. My son Aiden, my daughter Evan, my wife Diane, and now my own.
And they are all in attendance here today. Garcia swings it out to Marion Barber. Tackled by Jared Allen and Sean Merriman. Well, Asante Samuel of the Patriots knows that he will have some bills to pay at the end of the week.
We're trying to get it. We need it. I need it. I bought about 15 people with me. I got to pay some bills.
I think Asante can just put those on a credit card and wait a couple of months to make that payment. He's going to be one of the more highly sought after free agents in the markets, and feelings that New England may let him go. And you could see a contract similar to what Nate Clemens got last year going to San Francisco that approached $80 million over I think 9 years.
Marion Barber picks up a first down for the NFC. Samuel made the tackle. Barber, one of the 13 Dallas Cowboys here today. We talked about Osi Umenyiora, the only Giant. You were telling me an interesting story earlier about what takes place when the members of the Super Bowl championship team enter the first Pro Bowl player meeting.
At the Monday night meeting, you got both of the conferences in there, kind of going over everything you need to know for the week. And you know, obviously the Super Bowl teams coming in, you know, kind of late. The last teams to get out there are usually right as that meeting is starting, or sometimes while it's underway. And when you come in, you get usually get a round of applause from your conference for keeping it, you know, in the NFC this year, as the Giants did, because the AFC has been taking care of business for the majority of the last 10 years now. So I'm sure that as OC walked in, a nice little round of applause from all the guys from the NFC for the New York Giants.
Giants beat the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. The Packers coaching staff is here. Congratulations to Mike McCarthy on his new 5-year deal.
Yeah, he is well deserving of that, because, you know, Mike McCarthy, you know, a 4-12 team, got them to 8-8 last year, 13-3 this year in the NFC Championship game, with one of the youngest rosters in the NFL. And, you know, we keep going back to this. We had Green Bay in week 1, and Brett Favre said we could be anything from 10-6 to 6-10. I just don't know. So obviously 13-3, a great season for the Green Bay Packers. And there's one of your reasons right there. Donald Driver had an outstanding year.
Diving catch made by Driver at the AFC 44 as we check in downstairs with Tony.
All right, I'm over here with Ray Lewis. Come on, Ray. Don't look at the game. Ray, a little disappointing season for the Ravens. You guys lost your head coach, Brian Billick. John Harbaugh comes in, but you got to be happy that they kept Rex Ryan, your defense coordinator.
You know, I tell you what, man, you know, it's always a pleasure anytime that you can coach and still play with the same guy for so many years. Rex is kind of, you know, the cornerstone for our team, and, you know, to keep him around, man, there's going to be a lot of great changes going on. John Harbaugh is going to be a great guy coming in. You know, it's always disappointing seasons, but you can learn so much, you know, in a disappointing season. So I think, you know, we learned a lot and got a heck of a chemistry coming back.
So they did a pretty good job of protecting you back there, but how much are you willing to go and pay me to come back?
You know what? I'm gonna just send you a private phone call between me and you, and we're gonna figure that out.
Thanks, Ray.
Hey, thank you, bro.
All right, a couple of former teammates. They won a Super Bowl together. Ray Lewis, the Super Bowl 35 most valuable player.
And we talked about the chemistry with the New York Giants, and Osi Umenyiora wondering why some of his other teammates weren't over here. And he got here, he saw the representation that was here, and he said, okay, you know, there's some great players here, but I really think chemistry, a big reason, you know, not just the talent of the New York Giants, but the chemistry that they had this year and able to fight through adversity, and the chemistry of Tony's group with Ray Lewis back in 2000. I think that was a key in their Super Bowl championship run.
Adrian Peterson down to the 29-yard line. Brought down by Antoine Bethea after picking up 8. Peterson now with 123 yards on the ground for the NFC.
If Adrian gets in the end zone, he might surpass Terrell Owens as the MVP front runner. And who are our running backs? How come we're not getting the ball to Marion Barber and Brian Westbrook a little bit more? Adrian Peterson definitely toting the load today.
Peterson averaging over 8 yards per carry. Terrell Owens. Owens told our Brian Baldinger he is the front runner. TJ Houshmandzadeh earlier with the 2 touchdowns. Player of the Game award won by Carson Palmer last season. Timeout called by the AFC with 3 minutes remaining. 4th quarter, and the NFC leading by 5. Welcome back. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, Brian Baldinger. AFC had a 24-7 lead. The NFC has come back. They lead by 5 with just under 3 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 from the AFC 18. Garcia the slant. Owens. 1st down NFC, brought down at the 6-yard line.
That perfect distance for your red zone offense. Getting tackled at the 6-yard line has been key for the NFC in this game. They've been able to run that same route, the slant route from the 6 with no press coverage. If they get tackled at the 5, these corners are going to come up, jam, press the wide receiver. It's going to be much more difficult in what your play calling will be.
Owens 8 catches, 101 yards. Well, about 2,500 miles west here in Honolulu. NFC leading by 5. 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Peterson cuts towards the end zone. He's in. Touchdown. Adrian Peterson, his 2nd of the game.
Money in the bank. Money in the bank. Good job, boy. Good job, all right.
I tell you, as talented as he is as a football player, when you meet him, he's a great person too. And he has had a very, very nice afternoon. And I know that Brian Baldinger spoke with T.O. and T.O. felt he was the front runner. I think we got somebody coming down the back stretch, closing the gap pretty quick with Adrian Peterson.
Peterson with 129 yards rushing. 2nd most in the history of the Pro Bowl, behind only Marshall Faulk, who rushed for 180 back in '95. So Adrian Peterson extending the lead for the NFC as we head downstairs to Tony Siragusa. Tony?
Thanks, Kenny. We're down here with Gary Zimmerman. Gary, we would have gotten you earlier, but we heard you got stuck in an elevator. Is that true?
No, that's not true. They're just making that up, making fun of me. But no, it was just a lot of people trying to leave the stadium and just couldn't get down quick enough.
Well, congratulations on a Hall of Fame. It's an honor. I mean, you did 196 consecutive starts. Is that correct?
169.
Oh, 169. I tried to give you a couple extra.
Yeah, I would take them, but no. Yeah, it's a great honor, and it's. I feel like a rookie all again. You know, it's like the excitement and all the unknowing that comes with being a rookie is now the same thing with Hall of Fame. So now I'm the youngest class, so now it's like I'm the rookie again. So I don't know what's coming, and I'm sure it's going to be fun, and I'm sure it's going to be challenging, but looking forward to the challenge.
Talking about young guys, Adrian Peterson, I mean, you being an offensive lineman, would you love to be blocking for that guy?
Oh, I would love to block for him, but we had a pretty good one in TD, so I mean, it's a good running back can really make a lineman look good. So, you know, all the guys blocking for him will really come out good for that.
You were telling me what you're doing now, and I didn't believe it, but I want you to tell everybody you're actually a snowboarder, right?
Yeah, I'm a snowboarder. I snowboard whenever there's a nice powder. I'm a fair weather snowboarder, but probably the biggest snowboarder on the hill, but yeah.
You scare the kids at all or anything?
Well, they call me Gumby because the only coat I could find was a bright lemon green. So everybody knows me on the hill as Gumby, but so they know what it's me when I'm up there.
Yeah, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Back to you guys.
All right, nicknamed Gumby, but a member of 2 all-decade teams, Daryl. That's not easy to do. The 80s and the 90s, Gary Zimmerman.
Yeah, another guy that you wondered why it took this long to get into the Hall of Fame.
Here's Josh Cribbs on the return for the AFC. Cribbs brings it out across the 30 with 2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Later tonight on Fox, don't miss The Simpsons at 8, 7 Central, followed by a new King of the Hill. And at 9, 8 Central, it's a full hour of Family Guy you won't want to miss. The wildest shows on earth start tonight at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Your discretion is advised.
Well, you know, if Gary Zimmerman had a block for Adrian Peterson, he'd be over here in Hawaii enjoying his time. Adrian Peterson brought the offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings over here on his tab. Having a big day in front of his guys on top of that.
Anderson complete to Winslow. Well, 2 of them were here anyway, Steve Hutchinson and Matt Burke.
He got a little discount.
So he did not have to pay their way to Honolulu.
It's one of the reasons that we've heard a little bit of discussion about this game maybe being taken away from here. The contract runs through next season. And Roger Goodell is going to sit down and take a look at this. We've had a number of guys not come over this year, but I think that, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why it should stay here, because it is special. Not only the first time a guy comes over, but the experience of coming all the way to Hawaii and playing in this game. You know, for me personally, I would like to see it stay here.
Anderson under pressure throws it away. And one of the places the players, the coaches, the fans love visiting is the new Waikiki. Two minutes remaining here in Honolulu. AFC trailing by 12. Anderson in trouble. Pass was deflected. And then Anderson wrapped up by Trent Cole of the Eagles. Great job by our entire crew today here in Honolulu. Our producer Bob Stenner, director Sandy Grossman, associate director Charles McDonald, broadcast associates Mark Schaefer, Yvonne Wagner, and Bill Cullen, sideline producer Lou Tribbiani, technical producer Bob Muller, technical director is Rick Tugman, the tape supervisor Michael Nathanson, audio supervisor Pat Lucatordo, the studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons, the senior producer is Bill Brown, the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Dave Corris crunching the numbers. Ben Boma, our spotter, as the catch is made for a first down by Reggie Wayne. Thanks as well to Mike Eldridge and Fitz Allison down in the truck. A first down for the AFC from the NFC 42. AFC calls timeout with 1:39 on the clock.
I think Norv Turner was impressed by several of the Cleveland Browns this year. We mentioned what his impressions of Braylon Edwards, but he remembers Derek Anderson at the combine, and he said in his workout, if you just went, you know, took away all the other things and just look, you know, who's the best passer out there, who looks the best. He said it was Derek Anderson in his class.
Hey, double right, skip right, 588 nod, F drag swinger.
And Norv's son was a graduate assistant at Oregon State, Derek Anderson's alma mater. So Norv had a connection to the program. Derek Anderson, a 6th round draft pick by the Ravens. Back in 2005, he was released and picked up by the Cleveland Browns. Led them to a 10-win season, 7-0 at home. Anderson in trouble, down he goes. Aaron Campman of the Green Bay Packers taking Anderson down back at the 47-yard line.
He's going to be coming in from your right side. Looks like they've taken Greg Ellis and moved him. I saw him back there. He's listed as an outside linebacker in the game, but he's playing some of his old position, defensive end, right now.
Second down and 21. The screen to Willis McGahee. And McGahee is tackled by DeMarcus Ware at the NFC 46. If you joined us late, TJ Houshmandzadeh of the AFC, 2 touchdown receptions in the first half. Tony Romo threw a pair. Terrell Owens has 2 touchdown catches, 1 from Romo, 1 from Jeff Garcia. Adrian Peterson with 2 rushing touchdowns in the second half. As Anderson overthrows Reggie Wayne. There is a flag with 42 seconds remaining.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, 31 defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Al Harris does it again.
Only one way to play. He's sitting on the curl route. Reggie Wayne's going to go by him, so he's got to give him a little bump to get him off track.
Al Harris, his first trip to the Pro Bowl. He was an alternate the last 3 years. Finally made it to Honolulu. 42 seconds remaining. NFC by 12. From the NFC 41. Anderson going deep for his teammate Braylon Edwards. Nearly intercepted by the man who has the most career picks among active players, Darren Sharper. So with 35 seconds remaining, 2nd and 10 from the 41. NFC coming back from a 17-point deficit. They trail 24-7. Adrian Peterson, 129 yards on the ground, second most in the history of the Pro Bowl. 2 touchdowns. Anderson going deep, and Sharper got a piece of it.
He definitely had a chance on that one. The one before would have been a pretty impressive interception, but that one, that's one that we've seen Darren make several times throughout his career.
The last time you and I saw Darren Sharper, he was returning an Eli Manning pass into the end zone. In fact, the Minnesota Vikings returned 3 Manning picks into the end zone that day, the low point of the New York Giants season.
Oh, I mean, we had them a number of times this year, including that Minnesota game, and that was one of the reasons I just couldn't wrap myself around the Giants being able to beat the New England Patriots because of a game like the Minnesota game that we saw. But a credit to Eli Manning and that defense, where they just played outstanding on that playoff run.
Anderson's pass this time is picked off by Sharper. That is the first AFC turnover. The NFC turned the ball over 3 times. Darren Sharper, 53 career interceptions during the regular season to lead all active players, comes up with a Pro Bowl pick, and that will seal it for the NFC.
I talked to somebody from Green Bay, and they said it actually got colder during the course of the week after that championship game than it was at the championship game. They were closing schools because it was minus 39-degree wind chills later that week. So he is extremely happy to be over here in Honolulu.
And the NFC extremely happy. They will come away with the victory after trailing by 17. A 29-point swing. 2 touchdowns for Adrian Peterson. 2 touchdowns for Terrell Owens. The NFC over the AFC in the 2008 Pro Bowl by the score of 42-30.
And who would have thought the way this game started with the way Peyton Manning came out and TJ Houshmandzadeh, then we had Terrell Owens with Tony Romo and Jeff Garcia, that Adrian Peterson would be kind of the difference maker. I mean, just a great job by the offensive line and Adrian Peterson. As you pointed out, the 2nd most yards in Pro Bowl history. Normally you don't see that kind of a game from the running backs. So a great job. I mean, as a rookie, to have the season that he had and then to come over here and have the type of game he had, you know, if I'm picking the MVP, I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson.
16 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. His first score gave the NFC their first lead of the game, and his 2nd touchdown sealed the victory for the NFC as they win it by the score of 42-30. to 30. When we return to Aloha Stadium, we will find out who it is. Will it be Peterson? Will it be Owens? The MVP presentation up next.